A woman becomes addicted to the emotional rhythm a man brings into her life. Not the comfort but the contrast. Not the security but the mystery. Not the words but the silence between them. The truth is, every woman has two side souls. The side that craves safety and the side that craves danger. The side that wants peace and the side that aches for chaos. Controlled chaos. The man she becomes addicted to isn't necessarily the one who gives her everything she wants. It's the man who makes her feel everything she didn't expect. Let me say that again, because it's crucial. The man she becomes addicted to is the one who makes her feel what she didn't expect to feel: surprise, uncertainty, longing, depth, darkness. That's how addiction forms, through emotional contrast, not consistency. Biologically, a woman's mind is wired for protection, but it's also wired for protection. This means she's constantly reading energy, testing behavior, feeling vibes, sensing intentions, often unconsciously. So when a man shows up with complete predictability, complete submission, complete availability, she feels safe but not aroused. On the other hand, when a man is present yet detached, kind but not needy, emotionally intelligent but not emotionally reactive, he triggers something much deeper. He becomes an emotional puzzle. And women become addicted to solving puzzles that stir their curiosity and challenge their emotional intelligence. Let's dive into the psychology of lust and longing. Contrary to popular belief, lust in women is not primarily physical. It's psychological tension that turns physical. A man who knows how to create anticipation without overexposing his intentions, who can silence and still hold space, who isn't trying to impress but is fully embodied in his presence, becomes magnetic. Women lust for moments, energy, possibilities. They lust for the experience of being unraveled, understood, led into depth. Not just in the bedroom, but in conversation, in eye contact, in stillness. This is why women often saying, "I don't know what it is about him, but I can't stop thinking about him." It's not the works. It's how she felt in his presence. Now, here's the twist: most men destroy this attraction by becoming too available too soon. When a woman senses that she already has him, she doesn't feel the need to chase emotionally. Women need space to feel. They need absence to reflect. They need abstract to fantasize. The men who keep women addicted understand one thing: pull creates pursuit. When you pull back, not off games but out of self mastery, you give her room to imagine, to wonder, to desire. This psychological pull creates a vacuum, a space she naturally wants to fill, and this space builds addiction. Let's go even deeper. Women get addicted to the man who leads her through emotion she avoids in herself. That's why bad boys, emotionally unavailable men, or darkly masculine men create such intense attachments. They don't give her what she wants, but they awaken what she's been taught to suppress: desire, rage, surrender, hunger, mystery, unworthiness. She feels alive with them, even if it's chaotic, because feeling something is more addictive than feeling nothing. But here's the real power: you don't have to be toxic to create this effect. You simply have to stop being safe in the way society defines safety. Safe isn't what makes a woman stay. Safe makes her settle. Depth makes her stay. She stays for the emotional depth you create. The moments you look at her without saying a word and she feels seen. The moments you hold your ground without arguing. The moments you walk away without explanation. Because your peace is more important than proving a point. These aren't just behaviors, they're signals of emotional self respect. And women crave that kind of masculine energy like oxygen. Here's a powerful truth: a woman becomes addicted to the way a man handles her emotions. Not just when she's happy, but when she's insecure, angry, scared, jealous, unpredictable. The man who doesn't flinch in the face of her emotional storm, who stays grounded, not reactive, who neither invalidates nor indulges her chaos, becomes the man she trusts deeply, even if she resists it at first. That trust forms a deeper attachment than any amount of words ever could. Because now, you're not just a man, you're her emotional anchor. And that's an addiction she doesn't even want to recover from. Let's talk about imagination, the most powerful drug in the female mind. Women don't fall for facts, they fall for fantasy. And the most addictive men are the ones who give just enough to spark her imagination, but never too much to satisfy it completely. That imbalance creates emotional thirst. It keeps her thinking about you when you're not around. It keeps her replaying conversations, reanalyzing moments, wondering what you meant, why you looked at her like that, why you haven't called back yet. It's not that you're playing games, it's that you're not giving yourself away so easily. And that builds emotional value, because what is rare becomes desired, and what is desired becomes addictive. Now let's touch the darker side of this psychology. Some men unknowingly trigger addiction through emotional inconsistency, by showing deep intimacy one day and cold indifference the next. This creates emotional withdrawal, which can be mistaken for love. A woman will chase the high of the connection she once felt, hoping to relive it again, and every time she almost gets it, then loses it. It deepens the addiction. This is not something to be proud of, but it shows how powerful emotional patterns are. So if you're a man of integrity, don't use this to manipulate. Use it to become more aware. Because once you understand how her psychology works, you hold a powerful responsibility. You can either heal her or harm her. Choose wisely. Now, here's the empowering part: you don't have to be a narcissist to be unforgettable. You don't have to be toxic to be craved. You simply have to become rare. Rare in your presence, rare in your energy, rare your emotional groundedness, rare in your detachment from outcome. That kind of man doesn't need to chase. He becomes the one she chases. Because in a world of noise, he's still. In a world of chaos, he's calm. In a world of desperate men, he walks away. And the more he walks in his truth, the more she walks into her desire. Remember this: the strongest addiction a woman ever feels isn't to a man's body. It's to the way her soul responds to him. If you make her feel emotionally safe and dangerously alive at the same time, she will never forget you. So stop trying to be impressive. Start being present. Stop trying to be her fantasy. Start being the man who creates a reality so deep she can't escape it. Because in the end, the most addictive man is not the one who promises her the world, it's the one who makes her feel like she is the world, without even trying. And that is the ultimate power. A woman doesn't get addicted to the man himself, but to how he makes her feel in his presence, his absence, and his silence. It's not just him, it's the emotional world she enters when she's around him. It's the way time slows down when he walks into the room, the way her heart beats differently, when he looks at her without saying a word, the way her mind replays the last thing he said, searching for a deeper meaning. When he's present, she feels grounded yet electrified. His energy wraps around her, not forcefully but intentionally. It's the kind of presence that doesn't need validation. He doesn't try to impress, he doesn't try to prove, he simply is. And in that stillness, she feels safe and stirred. But it's not just his presence that captivates her, it's what happens in his absence. When he's gone, he doesn't chase. He doesn't check in every hour. He disappears into his purpose, his mission, his own self contained world. And that pulls her in deeper. His absence speaks louder than most men's presence ever could. She starts to wonder: is he thinking of me? Why hasn't he called? Did I matter? That emotional curiosity becomes a loop in her mind. And the more she thinks, the more she feels. The more she feels, the more she bonds. That's how the addiction begins. Not with the man, but with the feeling he leaves behind. And then there's the silence. Oh, the silence. Most men fear it. He wields it. He's not afraid to sit in stillness, to pause, to not answer right away. His silence isn't emptiness. It's presence without pressure. And in that silence, she projects, imagines, desires. She fills in the blanks with fantasy, and fantasy is far more powerful than reality. It's never just about what he says or does. It's about how his energy lingers, how his calm steadiness settles in her body like gravity, how his controlled detachment makes her crave closeness, how his silence forces her to feel things she hasn't felt before. That's what makes him unforgettable. That's what creates emotional addiction. Not the man himself, but the mirror he holds up, the mystery he leaves behind, and the emotion he awakens, without ever trying. Female desire is more psychological than visual. It's activated by imagination, tension, anticipation, and emotional triggers, not mere appearance. You see, a man can walk into a room looking like a Greek god: perfect jawline, perfect physique, flawless skin, and still be forgettable to a woman if he doesn't know how to stimulate her mind. Because while male desire often begins with what the eyes see, female desire is ignited by what the soul feels and what the mind imagines. Women are wired for emotional depth. Their arousal lives in the space between moments, in the unspoken words, the subtle glance, the delayed text reply, the way your voice lowers when you say her name. It's not about being obvious, it's about being felt. Imagination is her gateway to desire. When she doesn't know everything about you, she creates her own story. When you don't reveal your full intentions, she starts to wonder. When your energy shifts slightly, she analyzes, and that analysis becomes an obsession. Tension is the spark, not hostility, but emotional tension, the feeling that something could happen, might happen, but hasn't yet. It's in the subtle restraint when you hold her gaze but don't lean in. It's in the way you speak with controlled calmness, even when the air between you is thick with desire. That tension builds an internal fire, slow, consuming, addictive. Then comes anticipation, the wait, the unknown, the mystery of what's next. You see, most men rush to satisfaction, but the wise man delays gratification, not just sexually but emotionally. He allows the build up, he lets her feel the ache of wanting more. And in that ache, she becomes more emotionally invested. Because wanting is more powerful than having. And then there are emotional triggers. Women don't desire what's perfect. They desire what's real, what stirs them. A man who taps into her fears, her dreams, her sense of worth, her longing to be chosen and seen and challenged. that man becomes unforgettable. It's not manipulation, it's awareness. It's understanding that every woman carries emotional patterns, wounds, and cravings. And when a man aligns with those unseen parts of her, she feels a connection that's beyond logic. That's why women often say, there was just something about him. It wasn't his looks. It wasn't his job. It wasn't his clothes. It was how he made her feel without even touching her. Because in the end, female desire is not about what she sees. It's about what she feels. It's about what she imagines. And it's about what he awakens inside her, often without a single word. A woman's addiction is rarely about love. It's about the intensity, the contrast, the unpredictability, the emotional roller coaster that certain men unconsciously or deliberately create. You see, love is calm. Love is steady. Love is what she needs. But addiction, that's something else entirely. Addiction is wild, it's chaotic, it's inconsistent. It's not rooted in peace. It's rooted in emotional highs and lows that flood her nervous system like a drug. It's not that she wants the roller coaster. But when a man pulls her into that ride, whether by design or by default, her entire emotional body becomes hooked. Because addiction isn't born from comfort, it's born from contrast. When a man gives her warmth one day, then coldness the next when he opens up, then withdraws when he makes her feel seen, then suddenly feels distant. Her brain goes into overdrive. She starts chasing the version of him she met during that high. She wants that moment back. She needs it. And every time she almost gets it, every time he gives her a glimpse, a taste, a flicker of intimacy, only to disappear again, the bond deepens. Her mind associates him with intensity. And intensity often gets mistaken for love. But it's not love, it's adrenaline, it's dopamine, it's emotional withdrawal and reward. It's like gambling. One win keeps you hooked through 1,000 losses. And some men, consciously or unconsciously, create the cycle. They don't give her stability, they give her emotional suspense. And suspense is magnetic. You never know what's coming next. You never know which version of him you'll get. You never know whether today will be warm or cold, open or distant, passion or silence. And that emotional unpredictability lights up the parts of her brain that are wired for emotional memory and attachment. It confuses her, it consumes her. Suddenly, she's not just missing him, she's missing the intensity, the rush, the dangery. And so she stays, not because it's love, but because it feels like love at full volume. But here's the truth most won't admitting. A woman doesn't become addicted to safety. She becomes addicted to what shakes her, what breaks her open, what leaves her longing, what keeps her guessing. So the man she's addicted to isn't always the one who treats her best. It's the one who keeps her on edge. It's the one who knows how to pull her in, then let her go. It's the one who gives her just enough to hope, but never enough to settle. And if he does this deliberately, he's a manipulator. But if he does it unconsciously, because he's emotionally unavailable, wounded, or unsure of himself, then he's dangerous in a different way, still powerful, still unforgettable, still capable of leaving a mark. So understand this, her addiction isn't always about him. It's about what he unlocks in her. The emotional roller coaster, the craving, the hope, the ache, the feeling of being alive. Because that's what addiction really is, the illusion of being alive, even if it slowly breaks her.